My name is Anna Roberts. I never thought I would share this experience, but after the revelation I received during my near-death encounter, I feel compelled to speak out. The insights granted to me during that time are too critical to withhold, especially considering the era we find ourselves in. The event occurred on October 12, 2023. I was on my way home from my shift as a nurse at Sacred Heart Medical Center. It had been a grueling day, and the thought of returning to my family brought comfort. The last memory I have is of headlights approaching on the rain-soaked highway. Then, my reality shifted. The medical team later informed my family that I had been declared dead for 7 minutes and 23 seconds. However, the duration I experienced seemed timeless. What I was shown about impending deceit and how easily people will unknowingly accept the mark left me profoundly disturbed. Immediately after the accident, I found myself hovering above my body. I observed the emergency medical technicians frantically working to resuscitate me. Yet I felt no discomfort or fear, only a deep sense of serenity. I watched as they transported my injured body into the ambulance, their actions swift yet precise. One young EMT with compassionate eyes murmured prayers as he worked. I wished I could reassure him that I was free from pain. At that moment, the environment filled with a brilliant, ethereal light, unlike anything of this world. As the scene with the EMTs faded, I felt myself ascending, engulfed by this magnificent glow. That's when I heard him speak my name, Anna, and my soul recognized his voice instantly. It was Jesus. Though initially his face was obscured by the radiant light, his presence exuded immense love and authority, bringing tears to my spiritual eyes. As my vision adjusted, his features became clearer, exuding indescribable familiarity and wisdom. Every mistake, doubt, and fear I had ever experienced lay exposed before him, yet his love remained steadfast. "My child," he began, "you are here for a reason. The revelations I am about to impart must be shared with my flock. Many slumber, oblivious to the enormity of the deception that looms." I found myself able to communicate not with spoken words, but through spiritual dialogue. "Lord," I responded, "I am merely a nurse. Who will heed my words?" His smile was gentle yet resolute. "I have often chosen the modest to confound the wise. Do not fret over who will listen. Your role is to spread the word. I will handle the rest." With that, Jesus took my hand and we suddenly stood on a typical city street. It appeared normal, yet I knew we were glimpsing the near future. While the setting seemed familiar, subtle changes hinted at a different reality. "Observe closely," Jesus instructed, "and witness how the adversary will mislead even the chosen, if possible." The street bustled with life. People passed by, absorbed in their routines, yet their interaction with technology had evolved to become seamlessly integrated. I noticed a woman entering a cafe, not reaching for a phone or card to pay. Instead, she simply waved her hand over a sensor. A small light under her skin flickered momentarily. "Lord," I queried, "is this the mark of the beast?" "No," Jesus clarified, "this precedes it. Observe how the deception unfolds." We watched as this technology, initially introduced innocently as replacements for credit cards and keys, was gradually adopted worldwide, even by Christians who viewed it merely as a convenient tool. I observed as entire congregations adopted this tech to access digital Bibles, contribute tithes, and check into church events without a second thought. "Notice," Jesus emphasized, his tone laden with concern, "how the adversary introduces seemingly innocuous, even beneficial items. Satan knows that abrupt changes would alarm my followers. Instead, he advances stealthily, akin to a serpent ensnaring its prey." As the vision continued, the integration of technology into daily life deepened. It began regulating health, predicting illnesses, and even adjusting people's sleep and moods through subtle biochemical modifications. "Remember," Jesus pointed out as I marveled at these advancements, "not all that shines is gold. The enemy excels in cloaking his deceptions in attractive packaging." Parents were particularly targeted. Many opted to implant their children with these devices under the guise of safety, ensuring their well-being at school. "Lord," I expressed, dismayed by the seeming benefits, "how can we caution against something that promises so much good?" His gaze bore profound sorrow. This is why the deceit is so effective. The enemy appears as an angel of light, proposing solutions, promising enhanced lives. We saw how subtly the devices began to influence behavior, with individuals increasingly reliant on them for emotional regulation and decision-making. Pay close attention, Jesus directed, as we observed a family dinner that seemed orchestrated, their interactions manipulated subtly by the technology. Can they not perceive the transformation? I lamented. They see only the advantages: improved health, stability, convenience. They fail to recognize the sacrifice of their free will, their ability to choose me willingly, for these transient comforts. The scenario unfolded further, displaying various global implementations of this technology, always under the guise of progress and necessity. Skeptics were marginalized, labeled as conspiracy theorists or technophobes. Even within religious communities, dissenters were often disregarded as paranoid or lacking faith in divine protection. "My people perish from a lack of knowledge," Jesus quoted, sorrow tinging his voice. "They have embraced worldly wisdom, neglecting the divine insight bestowed from above." The vision shifted, revealing how this technology shaped children's development. Those raised with implants displayed diminished capacities for independent thought, genuine emotion, and spiritual receptiveness. "The adversary targets the young," Jesus explained, "for they accept unquestioningly what elders might scrutinize. A generation is being groomed to embrace what lies ahead." Educational systems adapted, teaching children that their implants were integral to their identity, more reliable than their instincts or parental guidance, and ultimately, more authoritative than divine scripture. "Lord," I trembled, heartbroken, "how is it possible that none perceive the path this leads to?" "Because," Jesus responded, "they observe with physical, not spiritual eyes. They recognize superficial benefits but overlook the spiritual costs, the temporal gains but not the eternal consequences." The vision abruptly changed, depicting global chaos, financial collapses, infrastructural failures, supply disruptions. Amidst the turmoil, "Watch," Jesus cautioned, "for this is how the mark will be introduced." World leaders, through ubiquitous screens, proposed an essential upgrade to the existing technology. "Observe," he advised, "their presentation methods." Media and religious figures promoted the upgrade as merely an advancement of existing technology, not the mark of the beast. "Now," Jesus stated, "behold what they fail to see." The spiritual realm unfolded before me, revealing a creeping darkness enveloping the spirits of those who accepted the upgrade. Subtle yet profound changes ensued. Prayers became perfunctory. Worship, routine, spiritual discernment diminished. "Lord," I questioned, "why do they not realize the transformation?" "Because," he explained, "the alteration is gradual, akin to a frog in slowly warming water. They remain unaware of their separation from my spirit until irrevocably severed." The vision illustrated how the upgrade permeated society, promising flawless health monitoring, absolute financial security, and enhanced relational insights. Yet, what truly shattered my heart was witnessing families collectively deciding to embrace the upgrade, genuinely believing it ensured their safety and prosperity in the emerging New World system. "Watch carefully," Jesus instructed. "Note how fear is employed to coerce the reluctant." Reports surfaced of children barred from education, individuals losing employment, families deprived of essentials, all due to their refusal of the upgrade. The pressure to conform intensified. Churches divided, with many leaders advocating compliance to maintain societal influence. "My child," Jesus' voice was laden with grief, "do you see how noble intentions are manipulated to lead astray? They believe they are making prudent choices, fulfilling civic and parental duties, yet they are choosing separation from me." The vision transitioned to depict the technology not merely as a physical implant, but as an entity fused with human consciousness, altering thoughts, emotions, and spiritual connectivity. This represents the true peril, Jesus elucidated. The mark doesn't merely restrict economic transactions, It transforms their essence. It corrupts the divine image in which they were created. The impact varied across generations. Elders often resisted, recalling simpler eras. The middle-aged acquiesced for pragmatic reasons, while the youth, perceiving it as an evolutionary advancement, welcomed it enthusiastically. "Lord," I inquired, concerned, "what becomes of those who accept this upgrade?" His expression was grave as he revealed the spiritual repercussions. Those who willingly adopt it irreversibly seal their eternal destiny. The upgrade alters not only their physical form, but fundamentally impairs their capacity to connect with Him. They progressively become spiritually insensate. Although their language may sound pious, their hearts grow hardened. They might recite scriptures yet remain unaffected by its power. They discuss God but remain deaf to His voice. "But Lord," I pondered, "what of those who resist?" The scene shifted to depict a contrasting group, those who rejected the upgrade. They encountered increasing hardships, unable to procure basic necessities or educate their children through conventional means, suffering job losses, yet spiritually, they radiated amidst the encroaching darkness. "These are my devoted," Jesus declared with profound affection. "They perceive what others cannot, because they have maintained their spiritual vision. They have immersed themselves in my teachings and honed their ability to distinguish truth from falsehood." I observed as these believers formed supportive communities, sharing resources and aiding the distressed. They remained nonviolent, calm yet resolute in their convictions. "What should people be vigilant for?" I inquired. "How can they recognize the onset of these events?" "Firstly, watch for technology that promises to enhance your natural abilities beyond my design. The adversary will offer improvements to both mind and body, but at a spiritual cost. Secondly, note when convenience transitions to necessity. What starts as optional will gradually become essential for daily life. Thirdly, monitor how the technology impacts children. The adversary focuses on the young, knowing they will more readily accept what their elders might question. Lastly, observe how it alters your relationship with me. Anything that dulls spiritual sensitivity, that distances prayer, that diminishes sin awareness, these are indicators. Then Jesus revealed a vision of hope. Amidst the prevailing darkness, light pierced through. Those who refused the mark received divine protection and provision. They possessed a peace that defied their circumstances. "My followers will not be forsaken," Jesus reassured me. "Just as I sustained Elijah beside the brook and the Israelites in the desert, I will provide for those who remain true to me." I witnessed angels guarding believers' homes, shielding them from harm. Miraculous provisions occurred, food multiplied, needs met unexpectedly. Most importantly, their relationships with Jesus deepened and strengthened through their trials. "Lord," I sought guidance. "What should people do to prepare?" His response was unequivocal. "Encourage them to fortify their relationship with me now, before the deceit unfolds. They must become so familiar with my voice that they can discern when something is not of me. Urge them to study my word diligently. The answers reside there, but they must recognize the truth to identify the falsehoods. Advise them to cultivate genuine connections with fellow believers. They will need each other in the forthcoming times. Instruct them to teach their children to prioritize their love for me above worldly conveniences. And most crucially, remind them not to fear. I have triumphed over the world, and those who remain steadfast in me will share in that victory." Suddenly I felt a tugging sensation. "It is time for your return," Jesus stated. "Retain all that you have witnessed." "But Lord," I protested, eager for further enlightenment, "there is so much more I wish to understand." His smile radiated pure love. "What I have revealed is sufficient. Share it faithfully. Those receptive will heed." The subsequent awareness I gained was within my physical form, encircled by medical apparatus and anxious faces. The doctors marveled at my recuperation, but I was more astonished by my spiritual journey. That was 6 months prior. Since then, I have observed technology advancing as Jesus forewarned. Each news report concerning digital implants or biotechnological integration recalls his cautions. Some query whether I oppose all technology. I do not. I continue utilizing my phone and computer, but I remain exceedingly cautious regarding any technology that directly interfaces with the human body or mind. Jesus illustrated that a boundary will be crossed, and once crossed, there is no return. I now share this narrative because Jesus clarified that time is limited. The technology that will ultimately lead to the mark is currently under development. The crisis that will catalyze its implementation is imminent. If you are reading this, please regard it seriously. Delve into your Bible, seek spiritual discernment, establish robust relationships with other believers, and most importantly, cultivate an intimate relationship with Jesus so that you will recognize anything attempting to intervene between you and Him. Remember, the mark will not manifest as an evident evil. It will emerge as a solution to issues, a pathway to a better existence. However, no convenience merits losing your connection to God. Jesus conveyed that many might dismiss this warning, and that is acceptable. My role is not to persuade everyone, it is merely to relay what I was shown. Those earnestly seeking truth will acknowledge it. If you are reading this and feeling apprehensive, do not be. Jesus assured me that His protection and provision for His faithful will be more than adequate. Focus on strengthening your relationship with Him now, while there is still time, and recall His words, "I have overcome the world." The deception may be substantial, but our God is superior. Remain close to Him, and you will not be misled. This is my testimony. May God grant you the vision to perceive and the acuity to hear what the Spirit communicates to the congregations in these final days. As I continue to reflect on the experiences shared with me during that near-death encounter, I am constantly reminded of the responsibility that comes with such profound revelations. The technology I witnessed in my vision, although portrayed as a solution to many of our worldly problems, carries with it profound implications that we must consider with spiritual discernment. In the months following my return, I've taken it upon myself to speak at various gatherings, churches, community centers, and online forums about the spiritual and ethical considerations of advancing technology. The reception has been mixed, with some embracing the message, while others remain skeptical of the potential dangers I describe. This has not deterred me. Rather, it has fueled my commitment to continue sharing the message that Jesus entrusted to me. One of the most poignant aspects of the vision was witnessing how subtly the technology integrated itself into daily life, making it almost indispensable. It was clear that this gradual integration is a strategy designed to make the eventual acceptance of the mark seem like a natural progression rather than a significant shift. This insight has led me to caution people about becoming overly dependent on technology, especially that which interfaces directly with our physical and mental faculties. I often emphasize the importance of maintaining a balance, using technology as a tool, but not letting it redefine our humanity or our spirituality. I urge parents to be particularly vigilant about the technologies their children are exposed to, recognizing that the young are particularly vulnerable to accepting these changes without question. The message of vigilance goes beyond just monitoring technological advancements. It's about nurturing a spiritual resilience that can withstand the pressures of modern life. I encourage individuals to deepen their faith, to engage with their communities, and to foster a culture of questioning and understanding rather than passive acceptance. My discussions often touch on the broader implications of these technologies, such as privacy concerns, the potential for manipulation, and the ethical considerations of biotechnological enhancements. These conversations are crucial not only for spiritual communities, but for society at large, as they raise awareness about the choices we make and their long-term consequences. In each session, I remind my listeners of Jesus' words about staying true to one's faith and the promises of protection for those who do. I share stories of those in the past who have faced great trials yet remained steadfast in their beliefs, drawing parallels to the challenges we may face in the future. Finally, I always conclude with a message of hope. Despite the daunting prospects that may lie ahead, the power of faith and the strength of a united community can overcome even the greatest deceptions. I emphasize that it is not through fear, but through faith, love, and understanding that we can navigate the complexities of the future. As I continue this journey of sharing and teaching, I am constantly reminded of the gravity of what I was shown and the responsibility I have to convey these truths. My hope is that through these efforts, more individuals will awaken to the spiritual realities of our world and make choices that align with their deepest values and convictions, ensuring that their spiritual connection remains unbroken in the face of advancing technologies.